Regan, thanks for joining us, mate. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Progressing really well. On course, exactly where I should be. So yeah, I've come a long way since the operation. It was a really tough couple of weeks afterwards. I never thought I'd be where I am today in such a short space of time. So yeah, really, really happy. Physios are happy. I'm happy, and yeah, I'm in a good place.
I just want to talk about that period sort of between sustaining injury and the operation process, because I know there's a period where you thought, you felt okay, and sort of you had the operation, which ultimately did set you back just because of the ACL reconstruction. So how sort of difficult of a setback was it after the operation when you've done all the work to build it up for the op, just to have the operation and feel
I think I was fine when I sustained the injury. I walked off the pitch, got on the coach all fine. So to find the news out that I did what I did was the toughest, because I just weren't expecting it. I was walking okay. It was painful, of course, but I never did think that I'd done what I'd done, which was the most heartbreaking thing, really, because I just weren't prepared for it or weren't expecting it. I'm the type of player that, in my career to date, I've never been injured before, so to hear that news was really tough. It took me a while to kind of get my head around it, and until I had the operation, that's when it kind of sunk in that I've done what I've done, and I was in a lot of pain afterwards. So that initial period leading up to the operation, I could still do a lot of the things that I needed to do, so it didn't actually feel like I've done it, but the initial period after the operation, that's when I kind of knew that I'm injured and I'm out for a long period of time here.
If you're comfortable talking about it, just take us back to that moment when you did find out. Do you remember how you found out, when you found out, who told you, etc.?
Yeah, well, we were waiting a couple of days for my scan results, which was, not ideal. Steve found out, the physio found out quite late in the night, so it was a phone call from him. I was kind of, I weren't expecting it to find out that way, but it is what it is. It's never going to be nice if you find out in person or over the phone. So I was expecting good news, to be honest. I thought, maybe, I don't know what, any suggestions would be better than what I got. So I was kind of remaining positive after. I was positive after the operation. I knew I hurt my knee, of course, but I never knew that I'd done what I'd done. So, for him to tell me that, I was just, devastated. It's kind of, I've never had to deal with anything like this in my career to date. I was kind of just thinking, how am I going to get through it? Because we were doing so well, we were top of the league, playing every game. Just got my first cap for my country. So, to find that news out was heartbreaking at the end of the day. And I called my parents, my partner, and everyone was just so gutted to me. But everyone at the club was being so supportive. From the manager to Rich to everyone. As soon as they found out the news, it was a phone call straight away. And if there's anything they can do to help. So that kind of I wasn't on my own. Everyone was kind of. Everyone was gutted just as much as me. Everyone at the club was gutted just as much as me. So for them to tell me anything I need, or they knew it's going to be a tough time, it's a long time, but for them to reassure me that they're there for me, and if there's anything they need, then I kind of knew, the club are with me through this, and they couldn't have been any more supportive.
After the operation, we've spoken off camera about sort of how difficult that period was. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was strange because I was fine before the operation, and then I came out of the operation and I couldn't do anything at all. My both legs were really sore. Obviously, they took my hamstring from my right and put it into my left knee, so I couldn't actually do anything for the first five days. But the turnaround from the operation to the week after, I was off my crutches. I weren't walking normally, but I could get about and I could do things on my own, sort of thing. It was a really quick turnaround, and I was surprised at that. I look back now and I was saying to Steve, from where I am today, doing double leg exercises as you're seeing today in the gym, I would have never thought I'd have been doing that maybe a month ago. At the moment it's nice because I'm seeing small little wins in my rehab. I'm seeing little progresses, which is nice, and you go home every day. I did my first jump, for example, the other day, and you go home feeling like you accomplished something, and it's quite frustrating for me at the moment because I feel like I can do more than I can actually do. I feel like I could run, but I obviously can't. That's the toughest thing at the moment for me, is I feel like I can play football right now, but I obviously can't, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it is nice. I'm seeing small little wins. I'm seeing, you know, my muscle build back in my leg a little bit, my swelling going down in my knee. There's so many little things that you see in which, you know, you go home and you think, you know, I accomplished something today. I'm a little bit closer to being where I want to be.
How important is it to have those positives and to be able to sort of reflect on how far you have come in this short period?
Yeah, it is. You know, you kind of need to. It's a tough period. It's a long time. You know, you need to try and remain as positive as you can, which is always tough. You know, some days are better than others, of course. You know, some days you do get fed up of being in the gym. You just want to be outside and around the lads. So it is tough. So to try and remain positive, and I think Steve and Bestie do a good job of that, and Max as well. They know how hard it is. They've dealt with many ACLs in their career. They know that some days are better than the others. But they do a good job at you know, making you feel positive, making you feel like you're on track, making me feel like I'm ahead of schedule, which I am. So yeah, you know, I am really happy where I am. I'm really happy with where my rehab's going, and you know, I'm attacking every day as you know, trying to get as back as soon as possible.
I just want to talk about the people that have been helping you get through this. Obviously, you say Steve, Bestie, Max as well, the fitness coach, got Rupak, George, and everyone. The list goes on. But who have been those people really getting you through this process?
Well, obviously, I deal with them three and George mostly, you know, on a day-to-day basis. So I see more of them than anyone else. You know, obviously Rupak as well. You know, I give a huge mention to them because, you know, before I'd done this injury, I didn't obviously work with Match in the gym, but I was very rarely with Steve because I didn't really have anything to see him for. You know, in my career I've never had to rehab anything, so I've never really dealt with physios that much in my career. So, you know, for me it's new. I'm obviously in the physio room a lot more than I normally am. So that was tough, you know, to start with, because, you know, as I was in the physio room nearly every day, and I've never really been in there in my career. So, yeah, that was tough to start. But them guys, you know, I'm dealing with Steve and Bestie and Rue and Max and George every day, and they're the main guys in my rehab. You know, they're the people that I'm dealing with every day. So, you know, obviously, you know, I can't thank them enough for the time and effort that they give me, because, you know, they want me back on the pitch as much as I do. So, you know, if there's anyone that I can thank today to get me where I am, I know there's a long way to go, but if, you know, they're the people to thank.
Off the pitch as well, I'm guessing there's been a really good support network around you as well.
Yeah, as I said, even the club, you know, when they found out the news, they were just as devastated as me, because we were doing so well, and, you know, me individually was doing good, and the team was doing really well. So, you know, the timing of the injury weren't great, but when you look at it on the positive side, that, you know, I might miss the start of next season, for example, but, you know, I got, you know, hopefully we'll be in the championship, and I can have a full season next season under my belt and pick up where I left off. But yeah, the club have been really supportive in terms of, you know, if there's anything they need, they'll try and help me. Listen, it's my injury at the end of the day. I'm the one that needs to try and get back on the pitch as soon as I can. But yeah, my family, obviously after the operation, I needed them around me, and my partner and my family. But, you know, they're the guys trying to keep me positive and trying to keep me focused on doing everything I can to get my knee in the best position that I can. So yeah, you know, family is the main thing, but, you know, people around the club have been brilliant as well.
How's the support from the lads been as well? I mean, you're always in and around the training ground. I mean, it's probably tough to be able to, you know, watch them from the gym out training. But yeah, as you said, you're in the physio room quite a bit, which is often quite, you know, described as the epicentre of a training ground.
Yeah, obviously I don't see as much as them that I would be if I was fit, of course. You know, I'm in the gym and they're outside a lot of the time. So that is what I found a little bit tough as well. You know, I'm used to dealing with the lads every day. You know, I'm normally in and around them. I have been for all my career. So to not see them as much was tough. But they've been brilliant. They know, listen, every footballer knows the extent of an ACL injury. They know it's a long period of time. They know it can get lonely in the gym on your own. They know. So that they were just as devastated as me. We were doing so well as a team. No, you don't want anyone to get injured. So for them to find out was just as much of a blow, obviously, for me. So yeah, they've been brilliant. You know, we're still top of the table. We're still doing well. I support the lads in every way that I can. I can't be on the pitch, but I'm in the changing room, you know, every home game, and trying to do my best to keep the lads positive and you know, doing what I can to try and get the job done.
Recovery aside, football aside, has there been anything else that you can sort of pinpoint that's been really helping you get through this recovery process?
Well, yeah, you know, I'm still in a period in my rehab at the moment that I'm fully focused on getting my knee in the best place I can. I know during the period of time it kind of hits a little bit of a stalemate where your knee feels fine and you're just running and stuff like that. But at this moment in time, I'm still trying to build my muscle up in my knee as much as I can. So I'm fully focused on that at the minute. You know, I think this is a period in my life where I can kind of think about other things outside of football, what I want to do after football, or maybe my badges, for example. I don't know what it is. I've never had chance to think about that in my career, because it's always been football, football, football. But yeah, maybe in a couple of months' time, that I can kind of have a think about maybe if it's something that I want to do after football, or maybe something like that. Maybe it's something that I'll address in a couple of months' time for sure.
En route to becoming a professional darts player as well, is it?
Yeah, Steve likes his darts, Bestie likes his darts, so yeah, my average is going up day by day, and so is my muscle in my leg, which is good.
I'm not sure if you've been on social media much recently, and obviously since your injury, but the messages were and still have been pouring through. You know, I've seen some as recently as this week. So, do you have a message for the supporters?
Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been on as social media as much, but it's been a time where it's something that I've had to deal with, on my own and with my family. But it's kind of, I've kind of taken a step back from it. But I've seen all their messages, I've seen the support, and it's brilliant. That it kind of makes me a little bit more sad in a way, because we were doing so well. We started my Pompey career well, and it's sad because the timing of the injury wasn't great, and I was loving my football so much. We were winning every week, we were doing so well, and we were giving the supporters exactly what they want. This club deserves to get promoted, and I was so gutted that if we did it, I wouldn't be the main part of it, because I'd be missing the main part of the season. But I'm so glad they got to see what I can do for 16, 17 games. They know, what when I come back, what I can do and what to expect, which is, I'm so glad that they know that. But yeah, thank you so much for all their messages. It's been brilliant. It kind of makes me a little bit emotional, really, because for me to get injured the way that I did, and the timing of the injury, it was sad. But listen, thank you very much for all their support, and I can't wait to be back on the pitch and showing them what I can do next season.
I think for someone to have such an impact in such a short space of time, I think that just shows sort of the kind of player you are. So I'm going to say on behalf of supporters, you don't need to apologise for not being on social media. But moving on, I know just finally that you personally have a little bit of time off coming up. So how much do you think that will sort of help and support you during this recovery process to be able to take your mind off things?
Yeah, I think it's important. Steve obviously knows what he's doing. He knows it's important. I'm rehabbing for 9 months at the end of the day. I think it's a long period of time to be rehabbing one thing. So I think a break, and it's always around this time that Steve says that people have a break, and I think it's important. I think I've got to a stage in my rehab now where I'm going on to the next phase, and I'm progressing well. So for me to have a little couple of days away and reset my mind, and I think by the time I come back, I'll be ready to go again and hit the ground running and move on to my next phase. I think the time that I get away is time to reset my body, and when I come back, I'll be looking to get on the grass and looking to do my first run. So I think that will be a big factor in my rehab, is to getting that first run done. And I think when I get out on the grass and I can run, I think I can look forward to to being outside again and doing all that side of things. So yeah, I'm quite excited for what's to come. I know I'm only 2 months in, but I'm trying to remain as positive as I can, because if you think like, I've got 7 months left, then you can't think like that, because you need to keep thinking how far you're in and how far I've come, and hopefully it can keep remaining positive like this, and there's no bumps in the road, because up to now it's all been good.
Yeah, well, wishing you all the best in your recovery. We're all by your side, and thanks again for your time.
Thank you very much, mate.